What's interesting is that one thing that Dak Prescott can improve on, to me, is his ability to throw with anticipation when it comes to his receivers. At times, he has been pretty good with that. One of the best throws that he had this season was the frozen rope that he had to CeeDee Lamb in the New Orleans Saints game. When teams are sitting back in coverage, zones are going to be open.
Yep.
That means Dalton Schultz, like we saw in the New York Giants game.
8 out of 8, 67 yards and a touchdown.
Being able to sit down in zones. But your receivers are also going to have to win at the line of scrimmage. If these guys are going to be facing zones where they're saying, look, we're going to make sure you don't get things over the top. We're not going to allow you to have big plays in the passing game, the explosive plays. The receivers have to win their one-on-one matches. And at times, Dak Prescott's got to throw receivers open, which means making tight window throws, which means throwing with anticipation and hitting guys when they're coming out of their breaks and making sure that he's able to accurately hit those guys, because at times your receivers aren't going to be quote-unquote wide open. Sometimes as your quarterback, you got to throw guys open. Dak Prescott, I think, can do a little bit better of that, and we've seen flashes of that from him, throughout his career, but that's going to have to be something that, to me, that improves for him going forward as well.
And it also helps, you mentioned this a little earlier, it also helps if the receivers turn the correct way. It also helps if the receiver doesn't drop the ball, CD. And I love CeeDee Lamb, but CeeDee's got the drops, and you can't have the drops, especially this time of the year. And also, it helps if you take those little open plays underneath, like you mentioned with the tight end, Dalton Schultz, my new best friend for the last 2 years. Give him the ball, and then all of a sudden you might have those chunk plays. I'm not talking about yards after catch. I'm talking about the long ball, which has been affected the first half of the season. It also can help, and I don't know if this is the next thing on your list, but if your running game helps you any kind of way, then guess what? If your running game helps you in any kind of way, it will open up some of that secondary, because guess what? The safety's going to have to come and help. You're not going to have right now. They're not in a box anymore, okay? Because everybody knows Zeke's got this one leg injury, right? Use Zeke situationally. Give Tony Pollard more carries. It's not that Tony Pollard needs to start. Use him in more creative ways. Use him in the ways that you've used him in the past. Use some unscouted plays. At the same time, if you do those things, you might see, in fact, Connor Williams back in the starting lineup is going to allow them to run the ball even better. We gave you the numbers yesterday on how well they ran on the left side, even without Tyron Smith, who won't be back for this game on Sunday. Bottom line is this: if you have an effective running game, the defense can't cheat anymore. They can't just stay in this zone.
Folks are wanting to see from the 903 more pre-snap motion, getting more creativity as far as that's concerned. And one of the things that you mentioned as far as the run game, when you're playing zones, teams are not respecting your ability to run the football, and the teams have not been respecting the Cowboys' ability to run the football. When you have the lack of consistency on the offensive line, Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott at times not being able to effectively run the ball, they'll say, well, we'll just sit back on you and make Dak Prescott beat you. We're not going to blitz it because we know that Dak Prescott kills the blitz, and he's not been able to, at least consistently enough, to be able to make teams pay for zone. But more importantly, the running game has to be able to punish teams for having them play in zone.
The other thing he's doing, unfortunately, because the offensive line was compromised and the running game was not happening, even though they weren't blitzing, he's trying to make those big plays like he had in the first half of the season. So therefore, he's extending these plays. No, dude. One of the reasons Aaron Rodgers is the leading candidate for MVP this year for the second year in a row, when 2 years ago everybody thought he was washed. Both he and Tom Brady, the two leading candidates, yet 2 years ago in 2020 seasons, the 2019 seasons, both of those guys were considered washed. How about this? They both know how to throw the damn ball away. Instead of trying to extend these plays and forcing plays when you have either receivers running the wrong routes or you have guys who are not your Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, dominant X and Z receivers, you can't just be forcing those things, Dak. Throw the damn ball away. You keep getting sacked because you're trying to make something happen, even though the offensive line was compromised. So, again, your running game can help you with that. And Kellen Moore, that's up to you. Ezekiel Elliott does not demand the football. Get Tony Pollard more touches. Get Zeke dirty yard touches, a situational plays. And at the same time, don't worry about, oh, we got to have Zeke back there for pass protection. They're not blitzing anymore.
And finally, Dak Prescott, in terms of what he can do as far as ways to improve the decision-making, that's been a topic of conversation surrounding this quarterback.
Problem. It has nothing to do with his physicals. It's his mentals.
And that, to me, is going to be what I'm looking for in the final 3 games of this season with respect to his decision making and how that improves going forward here?
It's going to be so damn easy for them. They're back home. Let me say this again for all Cowboy fans who are wondering and all the Cowboy fans who keep moving the goalposts around. They're back home. Their road home splits on touchdowns in the red zone is insane. They average a 40 burger at AT&T Stadium. Their opponent this Sunday night has nothing to play for. You choke them out early. You stomp on their neck, get you a huge lead, and they will quit. And guess what? Everybody's not going to be concerned about the second half and you only scored 2 touchdowns instead of 2 field goals. That's how you win this game. That's how you find your offense back to being its normalcy. And again, Dak doesn't have to play hero ball because he's at home. The numbers speak for themselves. And by the way, when people who say that they're tired of hearing the Cowboys won 3 straight road games and they're undefeated 3-0 in December and they're tired of hearing about the 3 straight road victories, let me go ahead and say it succinctly. No team in the NFL in this season, except the Dallas Cowboys, have won 3 straight road games.
There you go. We'll drop the mic there.
Yes, I did. I'm just saying for those who say, I'm tired of hearing about that. It's a fact. No team in the NFL has won 3 straight road games. They did it in December, damn it, when teams are supposed to be surging. Guess what? Dallas Cowboys have lost 1 NFC game. They lost that 1 game, the first game of the season. I'm telling you, you better look at that defense. They've won 3 straight games right in the Cowboys defense, where that defense have had 3 games with 4 turnovers. That defense is for real. That defense is what you should be excited about. And guess what, though? A good defense, a great defense is an offense's best friend. Watch the offense start excelling.
That's why, to me, Dan Quinn is the single most important non-player acquisition in the NFL this year.
And by the way, let me go to the 940. This is a Cowboy hater that just texted in. What does this Sunday prove? They're playing Washington. Again, I said this earlier in the show. There's always going to be somebody moving the goalposts. When they beat Washington the last time, oh, it's just Washington. Well, the Washington football team had won 4 straight games. Oh, when they beat New Orleans, oh, they had Taysom Hill. They were supposed to beat New Orleans. How about the Buccaneers could not beat New Orleans? And the Buccaneers were at home. Oh, Arizona's the best team in the league. How come they just lost to Detroit? The Tennessee Titans, I don't believe. Yeah, Tennessee Titans lost to Houston. How about Buffalo lost to Jacksonville? It's the NFL. Anything can happen, damn it. It proves that you're still undefeated in December. It means you've won 4 straight games. Until the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, there's always going to be somebody with an excuse. And guess what? When you win the Super Bowl, there's going to be a segment of the population who hates the Cowboys is going to say, doesn't mean anything. It was bad teams. It was bad teams this year. The league was off this year.